got out and about. There's a lot to talk about. Beyonce's country album will be out about midnight, I guess. So that's gonna be something to talk about. There's conversations about the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. A lot to talk about with that. Football stories, politics, Puffy, you name it. There's something for everybody. One thing on this live chat and stream, we cover a lot of topics. Um, we veer all over the cultures, and I'll tell you, like now, as I tell anybody, there's nothing that's really off limits because it's all relevant and it's all kind of like tied in together. There was a time when you would talk about sports and music and two different entities, or politics and different entities, but today everything is kind of like all centralized. It's amazing how that bubble and that orbit is basically one big circle. You sit there and you're just amazed at how it just ties in as one. Um, I think that the attention spans and the way pop culture has, I will attribute to how it became one orbit. I put it back to in living color with the Super Bowl. I think when they did that halftime take and then the NFL had to go get Michael Jackson, people had to go get somebody. And then more and more, as you saw, more entertainers were brought in. It's always been a love affair, but it was in the multimedia. But even in the video era, Michael Jackson was one who kind of broke that chain where you had athletes in his videos and you had people seeing more and stuff, but it became more fashionable. So you're starting to see more of that with two worlds collide, and obviously with the Magic Johnson and then you got these people in this on and Shaquille O'Neal, obviously. So Shaq rapping and all that. So you got a what we call a real best of both worlds, and you're starting to see where it was more. Now, Puffy's situation is real unique because Shaq and Puffy were cool. A lot of people were cool with Puffy. A lot. There's a lot of people that have associations. So we're going to see the more and more things come down, what happens with association, with people, um, you know, it's going to be, something more going on. What's up? What's up? How you doing? So we're going to see how this all ties together, you know, so, it's tied in together. I know you want to talk about how y'all won that sorry butt game against Memphis and still outshot free throws. I laugh about that. Phoenix is in trouble. There's a lot going on. I still ain't swayed from what I said. Denver should come out and win it all. You know, um, I still haven't seen a better team with the eyeball test. But if the fix is in, I wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised either. It's a lot going on. Yeah, y'all beat me. Yeah, but y'all still up to you know, y'all gonna be what y'all are. You know. Uh, what's up? I not like professionally, but I did learn a few little tricks of the standards. What makes you ask? That's I never been asked that before. What makes you ask? KD is on his own. Excuse me. Okay. That's called my African nose. That's how I was born. It's all real. And I didn't get no surgery. It's real. So if you black, you can accept your African nose. If you not, then you being racist. So you're gonna have to. I'm gonna give you one chance to say what your business is before I have to delete you. Oh, I respect Katie. I don't care what people say. Listen, I'm one of the few people that says this. The worst mistake he made was leaving Golden State. The worst mistake he ever made was trying to recapture what he had when he had it so good. Two things can be true at the same time. Steph can be a better player than him, but he can match or equal or surpass him playing with him and Kate and Clay. And it fit like an orchestra. You ever seen a musician who brings in another musician and you're like, okay, that only enhances the band. It made the band, yeah, he got a lot of stuff that's tied to him. You ever seen a musician that brings something to the band and then enhances it? Let me give you an example. Johnny Gill with New Edition. Johnny Gill could sing, but he didn't have the crossover and the appeal solo. He gets with New Edition, then he has a couple big hit records. Okay. Then he comes back with the group. And then he blows up. The thing is, that's KD. But see, KD tried to recapture that with Kyrie and now with Book. It ain't there. Yeah, Diddy, there's a lot of stuff that's just it's deep. And when the feds get involved, they got you left or right. They got you left or right. They got him on some real technical stuff that, but is he a terrorist? No. Predatory? Yeah. It's deep. Pop songs, the usual, pretty much the standards that were the main ones. I always say Brenda's Got a Baby is one of my favorites. I loved So Many Tears. So Many Tears is probably one of my favorites. I liked his tone. Dear Mama, he was a poet's poet. He was deep as a poet. A lot of stuff he did, things I like, and there's things I didn't like. But Comrades is underrated. You talking about you talking about Thug Life, the group? You talking about that, or I don't feel anything associated with Tupac to me was underrated. I think it was the way it was. Um, there are things I like that he did. There are things I didn't like. You know, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's a compliment in a way, but keep on talking. Let's see where you go with this. If you got conversation, feel free to join. If it's a problem, you know, I just have to make sure people ain't trolling. Biggie, 10 Commandments, by going back to Cali. Obviously, the stuff with him and R. Kelly, because it was hilarious. They was catchy. And then Sky's the Limit, um, More Money, More Problems. Unbelievable. You nobody till someone. All right, cool. No one till someone kills you. Um, Biggie. Let me tell you about Biggie for me. The way he flowed was that's what made me. That's I liked his cadence. Now he hated having to do all them songs with Puffy. Puffy got in on the be laughing in the background, crying and laughing. That's how Puffy got credit. I ate breakfast at McDonald's and a brother was bugged out to his old white woman man just answer. He said that blacks are racist also. He said that because he's really ignorant. If he said that mess, I would have a word with him. I would definitely have a word with him. I hate it when I hear black folks say that they're racist or they call that because we don't own nothing. You got to own something to have power over someone to put into to fruition. Of course she did. Just like she wish she could say the N-word. See, when people say stuff, this. I'm glad. Thank you for reporting this to me. I know they do, but I cringe when I hear black people say, "Oh, black people are racist." How? How? We don't own nothing. When I talk about Puffy, for instance, right? Clive Davis behind him. The white money, Jewish money, Italian money. Jay-Z, Dre. Who be running these? Who run these things? Who runs the NFL? Who runs Major League Baseball? Who runs hockey? Who runs basketball? WWF. Uh uh MMA. Come on now. What do these people, what do the black folks see that I don't see? You see the images being pushed in Forbes magazine and the hype that so and so's worth a billion. Puffy's a billionaire. Dre's a billionaire. Jay-Z's a billionaire. LeBron's a billionaire. Tiger Woods billionaire. Okay, Michael Jordan billionaire, right? Oprah billionaire, right? Who paid him? All that money Michael Jordan made, that white man who was behind Michael Jordan made tens of billions by the time Jordan got his first billion. If I pay you, I'm richer than you. Thank you. I think it's 80% black though, because it's not it. But I know what you're getting at. But it's not. They got one minority owner in Jacksonville, a guy who outright owns it, and he's not black. Okay, Pakistan. Thing is, you don't have it like that. You know, we understand if we had a ABA, if the big three of Ice Cube really owned that thing outright, Negro Leagues. If a man can go and pay Tyler Perry $500 million and say, go buy your studios, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just window dressing. Just like when Usher had a little chip with Cleveland and Jay-Z had his little 40-40 club chips. Magic had a little chip with the Lakers. They get chips. They don't get the bag. You know, when you put your hand in some chips, get as many chips as you can, but that's my bag. That's what these white folk be telling these people. When I do these live streams and we do have education, I do like to bring education 101. I'm not saying I'm better than smart nobody, but one thing I'm going to do on this channel, we're going to have real conversation about the real. Because I get so tired of hearing people say, oh, well, black people's good. You racist. I say, what do we own? What do we own? And I have to quote him because I am not the biggest Chris Rock fan, but he told truths. The worst white hater is going to feel they still superior over the richest black person, okay? Nobody sits around. They marvel. You know why? Because at the end of the day, you're still working on this plantation and they still look at you as a slave and you're still paying taxes and you're still bought into the system. That's how they look at you. They don't look at you as an equal because you're never told they are sorry for slavery. They've never made reparations. They've never even. I did the video about Francis Scott Key, and I'm going to talk about that again. Why was that name for that? Yeah. They do. They're not worried about Mexicans. They're not worried about Asians. They're not worried about East Indians or nothing because they can control. The people that you enslaved and put your Jim Crow and your tactics and your antics on, if they ever rise as a people and they get tired of taking your BS and when they really revolt back, it ain't gonna be nothing nice. It ain't gonna be nothing nice. It'll be a real bloodbath. The black people too nice to America with 3 Ks. I say it all the time. They too nice. Too nice. You cannot possibly be free in a place that has changed you. Malcolm X told you that. Can't dagger you 9 deep and then take 6 out and say we're equal because our footing is never going to be equal. Of course they are. I agree with that. That's why they gentrify all the neighborhoods. It takes a bad storm or something happens and it blows the places down. Then they turn around and want to raise the prices, but they don't take care of the people that were already there. They never do that in their communities. Let a storm hit Beverly Hills and they will work with the people. Let that storm hit the hood in Chicago and they're gonna try to run them out and then gentrify it and charge more. That's an interesting question. They all right, but I don't really mess with them. Why? I'm more into vegetarian tacos. We're gonna see where this goes. And I appreciate you, Tia, for alerting me. But I'm gonna see. Yeah, I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna see if they say anything else pop off, and then that's when I'm gonna pull a switch. But I do eat. I have had them, but I'm more. I do like Mexican food, but I like my vegetarian tacos and burritos. There's a lot you can do with Mexican food, vegetarian style. You can. Yeah, it's fair. I ain't got no problem with that. I mean, I'm glad you came through. Where you coming from? If you're gonna, yeah, ask a question. Tell me where you're coming from, and it ain't no foul. I just ask a question because I'm entitled to ask that question too. And what made you think of chimichangas? I never get asked that. Never get asked that. But I do like Mexican food, the authentic one, not the Taco Bell mess. That ain't real. I'm talking about the real. I'm talking about when you go and have a real quesadilla. I'm talking about homemade. Have you ever gone to a real Cinco de Mayo? Certain places they really get down. Not that discount mess. Not the way Walmart does, where they give you a little brown section either. I'm talking about the real section. But anyway, yeah, Ted, that's where I'm going on my rant. Yeah, that's cool. I have no problem with that. I mean, I eat food. I don't eat like I once did because I just don't really find a lot of food appealing. So I've limited, not really into a whole lot of the stuff that I once was. But I do like to eat healthy, feel good, and I don't mind questions on it. We talk about different things as long as you're not trolling. If you got a legit question, I ain't got no problem with it. Cause food is not. I mean, God, I used to be a Food Network addict, and I watch different shows. Yes, I am. Between that and vegan, and I feel a whole lot better. 'Cause shoot, I can go walking a whole lot of places. It don't feel nothing, and I can't begin to tell you. You know, I do emphasize about healthy living, and there's a lot to choose from. I tried it before. I went back and forth. I did it back in the day, talking about 30 years ago, and they didn't have as many choices as they did. And then that became, because it was more expensive. Being a vegetarian vegan back in the day was like having a cell phone, and they made it more amenable now. So I just feel better. I can't tell nobody, but that's what I say. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's cool. No harm, no foul. That's cool. You don't know unless you ask questions. So, but I believe healthy eating, healthy living, healthy. Just take care of your body. It's your temple. So, mm-hmm. All right. Weird, Ted. Give me some questions. Hmm. Yeah, spiritually, you want to be awakened, and it's important, I think. Yeah, I believe in that. Um, I hated it when the Bills lost to the Giants because that's the obvious one. That's the obvious one. Thank you. Same to you too. I think the Giants beating the 49ers, both that was upset. The Giants beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, and then they beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. That's got to be 1 and 2 right there. Hmm. I'd be hard pressed after that because that to me, well, you could say San Diego beating Pittsburgh because when Kevin Green, when they beat that, when Humphreys and them beat them, that was a surprise. And the Chargers got annihilated by the 49ers in the Super Bowl. That would have been an interesting Super Bowl if Pittsburgh played the 49ers. Two Super Bowls we missed out on that I wanted to see. I wanted to see Buffalo against Frisco, and I wanted to see Pittsburgh against San Francisco. And it didn't come to be. It didn't come to be. Mm, I mean, I guess Marcus Allen for me. That one always kind of stand out the most. Doug Williams, Mahomes. I guess I give an honorable mention to Emmett and Irvin, and Jerry Rice too, if I'm going that route. But I'd say, realistically, honestly, Marcus Allen and I think Tony Dorsett too. But I think that with Marcus and Mahomes come to mind. I think they're all significant. I mean, you know, it's good to see guys that you root for to win. So, but I really, really thought about it like that. Not really. We don't really get it. Football rings aren't quite the same as only the quarterbacks that they make that debate with. Other people don't really, because a guy that's considered great is great or great. It's like when we had the Jerry Rice Michael Irvin argument. Rice went to more Super Bowls by one, and he won the same amount as Irvin, but you don't look at him as the same. Well, now if you want that answer, it's only one guy that comes to mind, and there's about 10 other guys that I like a lot, and I might even say two or three of them that I love. But when you say center fielders, everything starts and ends for me with Willie Mays. Sorry to say, hey kid. Look, I like a lot of other center folks. I know you're gonna mention Griffith Jr. and I would say underrated was Gary Maddox, and of course Edmonds, and there's a lot of great center fielders, but Willie Mays, come on now, master dude. He's still the standard, as far as I'm concerned. The catches he made, his arm strength, his bat, his all around play. He predated everybody about 40, 50 years. You know, just saying. He comes to mind. I still think he's the standard. And that's all due respect to Griffey Jr. and you got Edmonds and you got some others, but he just was a standard. So his arm, I think, as an outfielder, because everybody focused on his offense, but his defense was legit. And he played a long time. Hank Aaron is kind of like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of baseball players, if you think about it, because he was dominant and great, but yet he wasn't, because he didn't have that kind of luster. So he doesn't get that enshrined because he kind of was, you know, but he was hecka consistent. I mean, and a team player too. Yeah. Ooh, wow. Well, let me start with Yunt. I just think his all around game is underrated. That's what I'd say about that because Yunt was an all around player. He hit for power, speed, average, underground. Lou Brock getting on base. Either the same thing that he was known for stealing bases, the fact that he could be, you know, and for a long time. And no one never asked me about Lou Brock. I'll get asked more about Lou Rawls than I'll get Lou Brock. And they both reinvented themselves. Hmm. Yeah. I never get asked about Lou Brock. I get asked about Lou Rawls. I want to say about Lou Brock. Yeah. That's how I know you a real baseball fan. You go back. No one talks about Sweet Lou. Lou was bad. Get on base, could hit, and he kept the thing going. That's what guys. When we talk about role players or guys who find a role, you have to not only take walks to be a leadoff hitter, to steal bases, to be skilled and thrifty, but you have to understand pitch count. So many things you have to do. And it's a lost art and a gift. And he was very talented. He had a glove. He was bad. He wasn't just a bat. I think his home run record is actually his rockets are actually downplayed because 548, but he was consistent. I don't even think he gets his due for how great of a hitter. Well, it's because he played for the Cubs and they didn't do much, but he was bad. I mean, Ernie Banks was a beast, and he at that time his dominance in the infield. When you think about it, but they never talk about him because they make it sound like shortstop guys, which they didn't. I grew up in the era. It wasn't until we got with Ripken, till you got to the era, till we see shortstops coming along, being able to take certain pitches. That's underrated skill. You got to know where you're gonna strike. Depends on what hitter we're talking about, because that's kind of a loaded question because it depends on the hitter. Um, you got hacks. You got guys who take pitches. You got guys who know how to create, you know, deep pitch counts. It depends on the hitters. That's kind of a loaded. See, I was fortunate enough to see someone like Barry Bonds who could he master. He almost come. I don't usually use the word mastermind or master something because I don't usually say that. But he's about the closest thing I would say to almost mastered the art of hitting as a power hitter because he knew when to take pitches. He knew when to draw in. He forced the issue. Well, Frank Thomas was a student. He was kind of like the right hand version of Tony Gwynn, except with more pop in his bat. But he knew how to draw it in. Pujols was probably as scary as anybody, as scary as anybody that's ever played. And like I said, in his St. Louis era, we would be talking about him in a higher level because his Angels era didn't work out as much. Ironically, going to the American League didn't really pay the dividends, but he was something else though, especially in the National League. I mean, he was right there with Barry. Manny was he almost was like a freestyle, but he actually did keep his average and he did those little things. Underrated for his, hitting for average sometime because he really wasn't just up there hacking. He did stuff. Yeah, A-Rod learned how to take pitches. He learned how to battle and he understood taking drawn walks and stuff. It's just that his body gave up on him when he got older. That's all. Had his body not given up on him, he may have given Barry a run for the home run record. Because I do believe he probably left about, I think A-Rod probably left about 40, 50 home runs out there on the table, but he just body gave out. But he was a smart hitter. He got smarter and smarter as time went on. He became more clutch though when he's with the pinstripes though. Well, I mean, I really don't. I mean, they used to be more animated. I think we talked about this a while ago. They animated. Some of them took an act routine. Some of them had to have like they almost had to have like a mental, they had to be in character. It's different now. They're not the way they once were. They have theme music. It just. Well, let me get back to a question. You went to Denny's. What did you eat? And was this guy working there with the manager? And how did she look? And what was the story? Because you got to give me some story on that, though. Damn. You think he was trying to mac on her, or did she like old bat? Let me know. Okay. Okay. Depends on how you look at Jamie Lee Curtis. She 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 had it going on back in the day, but she something off with her though. Can't put my finger on it though. I just can't believe he be a young brother to say that. No wonder you look at him strange. And he younger than you. I mean, that's crazy. I'm like, who you been hanging with? I mean, like, who are you been hanging with? And does he understand why black people would have issue with this history? I mean, I'm like, must have been his probably his uncles or his daddy. You know how you excuse me, sometimes you be asking me about pet peeves or cookouts or something. I said, bet some uncle or some daddy probably said them white folks be getting on my, you know how they be talking. Even though, bet they did. Was his coworkers black or were they white? I'm curious. I hope he ain't trying to get a raise or nothing. Tap dancing, even in working Denny's ain't gonna get you no. They not gonna give you a treat. Oh, McDonald's. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah, well, you saw him out there gyrating. What's up, Shorty? Oh, yeah, what's up? I think it's embarrassing. I think it's a political drive. I'm not surprised by TD Jakes. Not at all. Yeah, and there's a lot of money involved with the black churches and stuff. See, that's a whole nother thing with the politicians. BLM and getting involved, getting accused is that's the stuff that they hoping that see they'll say this stuff now because they don't know which way black folks are going to vote for the election. I'm very offended by it, but you know what? I'm not surprised by it because they don't know which way it's going to go. But I'm gonna tell you something: if black folks side with either side, then they won't say this stupid stuff. But this just goes to show that they really don't know. That's what they're trying to. They're trying to send a message through the airwaves. They always blame black folks for something when folks ain't had nothing to do with it. But that's because it's political. It's just like, well, because if it wasn't for that and this, had nothing to do with that. Not at all. Not at all. Only if it was true. But you already know. I mean, Ray Allen shot. Do you already know? You're a Miami Heat fan, you already know. And of course, Kyrie shot over Steph. I mean, any of those legendary shots you gotta go with. Um, those are the best plays that you remember because either were buzzer beaters or they changed. Um, I will share with you one of my favorite plays. That was a great play. That shot was great. But one of them didn't involve actually a shot. It was actually a shot. Was when Kevin McHale clotheslined Kurt Rambis. That's probably because that changed that series. At that time, the Lakers they were getting ready to run the Celtics off the floor, and Bird nodded to McHale, and then he clotheslined Rambis. Maybe that's why Jenny Buss and them still give Kurt Rambis front, because that clothesline was felt, yo. That was a turning point in that series. I missed that NBA. That NBA ain't never coming back again. I ain't lying. That clothesline, that everybody old school know that clothesline. Kim McHale about took the glass, took him apart, and that changed that series. They won that game because Magic was partying, high fiving, and Word they was grinning and laughing. He got clothesline. Bird said, "Y'all need to toughen up," because Bird called him out. If you've never seen it, Bird got in the press conference and said, "You stop acting on soft out here." I missed that day. Oh, see, when people ask, you know, yeah, but that wasn't in the finals though. That was game 2 in Eastern Conference. I remember that dunk. And that was a big thing too, because people didn't like at that time. I'm gonna tell you a story about this. People didn't thought Jordan was untouchable. Okay. And it was tiring. See, the thing about it is they never let basketball play itself out. It's always this romanticism of whoever the money guy, everything gotta be slurp fest. And it gets nauseating. And Jordan was nauseating too. So when Starks jumped on him, but they didn't finish the series though. So that's what happened. But yeah, the Kurt Rambis thing, oh man, that was a different era. I think Jerry Stackhouse tried to do that same thing to Shaq when Shaq went for dunk in that game in Miami, tried to hit him hard in the legs, and it didn't work. And Shaq was like, whatever, because he ran into him, but it didn't have the same reverberation because Dallas was a soft team. You give a guy a hard foul, you can't do those things no more like you used to. But take my word on it, when McHale clothesline Rambis, that changed their fortunes. They won that series. They toughened up because Bird was like, see, I missed that. I missed that. Oh, when they clothesline Jordan, he up in the air, they knocked him on his butt. He had a headache. He was like, and Scotty was like, I got a headache. They knocked your butt out. And then Isaiah was making shots and dribbling. When they won their chips, those are probably my favorite moments. When they won their titles, really. They came up big. They played good. When they beat Chicago, too. Because Isaiah used to say, we're going to take it. We come back to Detroit. We win in this series. And you knew it was a wrap. Chicago could not beat them in Detroit. Ain't it funny that Jordan broke through Detroit just the way Krzyzewski broke through UNLV? No one ever sees stuff being ironic. I think his underrated skill is actually the fact that he could go up against different people in different sizes more than anything because he would put his body up. He was 6'4.5", and he was guarding different people. And that gets lost. I mean, there were times he had to go against Shaq and he had to go against Jordan. But he didn't back down for whoever the challenge was. I think that was the amazing thing about him. If you ask my personal opinion. I mean, I could say passing and one thing, but just the fact that he physically went up against different people. Undersized too. But he held his own. You know. The cat had handles. He could go behind the back. He had some wheels too. I mean, he never gets his due. So, but my favorite finals moments. I mean, those are some that come to mind. I already did. We did this already. I told you already. I had already talked about that. You know, I mentioned. I think I had mentioned cats like Detlef Shrimp and Hershey Hawkins and John Starks and Mario Ellie and you know Robert Ory. Most of them played for the Rockets, if you must know. I think that's the one thing that Rudy Tomjanovich never gets his credit on. He really understood the role players because if you think about it, the Rockets had the best role players. Because Ori goes off and does what he do. Mario Ellie goes off and does what he do. Okay. And who else do I want to pick on? Um, um, they had somebody else too that I can't think of who else it was, but to me, the Rockets were the best role team. Because to be honest with you, the Rockets role team was actually more legit than the Bulls ones were. I know you're gonna throw Curry at me and Paxson. I'll give you that. What do you mean by now offenses? But I think that the Rockets and the Bulls had the best role players, and I think the Rockets role players were more. They were more what I saw effective. So, you talking about 2000s now offensive? You said offenses NBA? Or you talking about football? Because I don't know. You got one too many questions. The 2000 now offenses and now NFL offenses. Tell me now. Oh, Greatest Show on Turf was the best one at that time, St. Louis. I mean, yeah, the New England with Brady and Moss. Mm, mm, I think the Eagles the year when they won the Super Bowl when they won with Nick Foles was a great offense too. Um, Kansas City, the first one, the first Super Bowl they won. I think I'm thinking about more of man. I'm thinking more of teams that went to the Super Bowl with their offenses. Because Philadelphia's offense that went to the Super Bowl and lost to New England was great with McNabb and T.O. They were. They were. I think the Matthew Stafford Rams one was great too. Yeah. They're gonna be some I forget, but obviously you can make a case with Peyton Manning, Harrison, and them. They were great. So it all depends on which one you look at, how you looking at it. Yeah, they were. They were. They were. You can make that case. Yeah, I remember. I told you he's a great coach. I love Udoka, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. If they get in there, they're gonna be a problem. And I know they people might say they too young. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. That man know how to coach. And I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah, Shea might be MVP worthy, but they don't want to play the Rockets. Yeah, Minnesota might Ethan Edwards. They don't want to play the Rockets. Nobody want to play the Rockets. That man can coach. And I'm gonna tell you something else that we don't want to talk about it. He the best coach that LeBron don't have right now because he would figure out how to get them to win. The man showed you. He took two knowns and Tatum and Brown, and now he's got a kid in Jalen Green and them cats, and they are balling. Udoka ain't to be messed with. Tell you. Nobody wants to play them boys. I'm telling you. Nobody wants to play them. And the scary part is just getting near the sleepy time part at the end of the year. That game next week against Golden State is huge. Because whoever wins that one will be in the play-in. No one wants to play the Rockets. And you know Udoka would love to knock AD and him out. Yeah, I know. I know what he did. Because he was, I remember when he was there 10 years ago on the bench with you with Pop. And him and LeBron had words. Yeah, even though he's long in the tooth now. I mean, the Victor Wamby thing might be interesting. Can that be another act three for him? He's already had two acts before, so this will be act three. If he can make something happen with this kid. And I do believe that Wamba will be rolling things in 2 to 3 years, where he be rolling it. Because if they catch on to what he's doing in a couple years, he could be a real deep threat in the West. So depends on how quick they get the pieces there. Pop is a great coach. Pop's in my top five ever. Yeah, and the scary part is, like I said, in a couple years. I said in a couple. I'm putting Wemby in the same boat as Jordan Love in a couple years. Got this year to finish off, and next year he starts to make that trajectory. And I say by year three, watch out because it could open up that quick in 2 years. I'm saying that. I'm getting one more year. Yeah, now like okay, you're seed worthy. You're starting to get worthy. In 2 years, I expect you to be making deep runs because I think by 3 year under your belt, sky's the limit. I'm saying it already because if he's showing this much already, and these other cats ain't booming, he could pass a lot of them up. So if you Joel Embiid, you ain't got deep yet, you better watch out because this cat's coming. If you're Luca and you ain't get deep yet, you better watch out. This cat's coming. If you're Anthony Edwards now, you better watch out. This cat's coming. Shea got time because Shea still, but this guy, if he gets into the front of it, he's the only one that's got a chance to probably to be on Jokic's level, style wise, talent wise. We'll see. His season ain't over yet. We'll see. Jason Kidd is still alive and well. So we'll see. If he messes that up though, Lucas, we'll see though. I don't think so. I mean, you're so you're really gonna tell me with a straight face they should beat Denver? Really, really? I mean, no, no. But I will tell you this though: if they don't play Denver in the Western Conference Finals, he's on a thin line next year. I'll tell you that. Or if he gets in the second round, they better go 6, 7 games in the second round. Anything less than that, his butt will be on the hot seat. And I give him another year. I give him one more year. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I don't think he ain't gonna get fired there now because I just don't think they're better than Denver. I don't see nobody that's better than Denver in the West. I'm sorry, but a Lady Nuggets fan ticket holder Thursday got her banned for. She got banned for what? What happened? I don't understand. They ain't gonna just ban you unless you said something or did something. It's gotta be more to the story. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. The first I'm hearing about it. I'm sure that if it makes enough media trajectory, she'll get her tickets back. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be something. I don't know. I have to look that up. I don't know. Just first I'm hearing about it. Oh, okay, well, that's why it went viral. Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks for giving the heads up. That's the only reason why it went viral because she was black. They wouldn't say nothing. And that she got a little extra friendly with somebody. I don't know. She said something extra. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have to see the video. I don't know. And there's got to be some more to it than that. So I don't know. It's got to suck because she was there through thick and thin. Now, if she had a Do Raoul's autograph, that might be a reason why they be hating. That's the only reason I think they could be hating. Ooh, okay. Ooh. See, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. She may have said something. You never know. I'm sure she has Alex English's autograph too. Well, I don't know. No, he wasn't there then. He was gone. It's 35 years ago. Well, she might. She might have his. She might. Antonio McDyess too. I don't know. Oh, okay. How she look? Does she like a 304? If she look like a 304, that might explain it. You know, if Alex English was macking like that, no one would ever say nothing because he looks like a nerd. He had that nerdy schoolboy look. He could be a pimp. Nobody would say nothing. So that would be funny. That would be hilarious. Alex English like, come here, girl. You want this autograph? Come on back here to this room. Oh, okay. She been beat up and tore up. That's probably what it is. Probably messing with Dan Issel with 3 teeth and stuff. Because Dan Issel, it probably was some wild stuff back then. I wouldn't be surprised. Probably was an old groupie. I'll have to check her out. Probably what it was. Miller was too old for her. I don't know. I don't know. Mello be wilding in the streets though, so I don't know. I know about Mr. Mello. Laylo be out here kind of weirded out though. Layla had a big old celebration for her son. So I don't know. Yeah. And once she got to do that that 50 Cent show, she really got in her bag then after Mello dropped her. hmm She was bad though. That's why I wonder why Mello ran from her. Oh yeah. He got crazy charisma, some evil charisma he got. He be turning them out. Diddy be turning them out. Well, I'm not shocked or surprised if that's the latest because I mean the industry cats ain't make no money. And you sampling all that music and that studio and all that stuff, you ain't making that money. Clyde Davis gave the man $70 million credit card. I know he mad at him. You know why he mad at him? You know why? You do know why. 50 mad at him because he wanted to be him. He wanted to be him. That's what 50 be trying to do. See, 50 got that that shows he's had. 50 always trying to play a baller, always playing a shot caller, always doing the stuff. When 50 came out with How to Ride, Jay-Z and them didn't touch him. They avoided him. That's why Eminem and them got him for like on the bid. They got him on the cheap. 50 was like, I don't know what it was why he turned them off. How to Ride was a hilarious song too, but his rap cadence was inspired by Mace. So that's the first clue. He wanted to rub with Diddy. Diddy didn't rub him like that. And so he got with him, he got with Dre, built his wares, did whatever he had to do. But see, those cats wanted what 50 what Diddy had. They wanted it. They wanted it. Because Diddy parlayed it in such a way that it was like, wow, he became like a real model. He went from that's why 50 went and got vitamin water. 50 because Diddy did it, alcohol did the clothing line. That's what they all did. If you pay attention to them, they all had a clothing line, some kind of drink line, apparel. He wanted it. Jay-Z, they all learned from because the thing about it, when Clyde put that money on Diddy, Diddy was the dude after Russell in New York. Everything was going through Easy E for a moment. Yeah, yeah, cats like Easy, who was a money making machine, but Easy didn't have he didn't have the lingo, he didn't have the reach like that commercial. Luke Campbell didn't have the reach like that commercial. Diddy was the one, and Suge was playing that role, and Suge was a bodyguard. Suge didn't really have the zenith like that. This cat comes along. Well, Pac gave Biggie his blueprint as far as rapping. He gave him his guiding light because Biggie's cadence was off of Pac. If you listen to his tone, it was all just a dream. It's all what if you hear how well, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. If you hear how he attacks certain songs, that was the influence. Now, he wasn't jealous of that. He wanted Pac to almost be a pigeon, to snitch for him. Pac got himself tied up in a lot of different wires. So that's what happened. Pac was tied up in a lot of wires, and that's how he ended up with, because no one put no money on him. Diddy didn't want to put no money on him. Not jealous. He didn't like when Biggie got with Lance on Rivera for Undies Entertainment, and that's for Little Kim and Junior Mafia. That's he making money. But it was a battle because it was business. If you saw the movie, the Biggie movie, which was basic, it was just as corny, almost as straight out Compton. But anyway, there's a scene when they get the check from Arista. Puffy gets 40 million, Biggie gets 5. Think about that scene for a moment and think about how it all comes out. Why is he going to be jealous of a man that he's getting 30 plus million more than? And on top of that, he bought his publishing off of. Jay-Z, I don't think Drake's going nowhere. Drake's not a threat. Now, I'm going to tell you, Baby Williams would be a threat before Drake. Baby owns Cash Money. That's who they would go after. They're not going after Drake. Now, 20 years ago, they did a semi-run at Irv Gotti. They stripped Murder Inc. He's got the rights, but he's done in the business as you know it. Jay-Z's the next big fish. And then maybe Baby Williams. But there's only one big fish that no one talks about, and that's Dr. Dre. Or the Ike Turner Awards, if you will, named in his honor. And then we forgot about D. Barnes and his antics. But because he got deep white pockets with Jimmy Iovine and them headphones, no one ever says anything about him or Snoop. You know them on the wiretap. Or Fat Joe. You know he's on the wiretap. See, I can name you candidates. Drake ain't in that argument yet. Drake ain't done nothing to merit that. But Fat Joe knows a lot. Dr. Dre, Snoop, they would come before Drake and Jay-Z. I name you 4. If you need like a small fish to get taken out, maybe Trey Songz if you want a small fish. If you want an evil eyeball fish, Chris Stokes. But I don't know if it's going to merit that kind of attention, but Chris Stokes. But see, I can name you cats. We are live right now, and if you don't tell me who you are and what you're doing, we are talking live. And what do you want? Oh, you know about the whole thing with B2K, right? You do know, right? That's a Booty Bandit Central. You do know, right? You know, he got a lot of it's a lot there. It's just that he black and he's attacking black young cats, and no one ever says anything about that per se. Oh, you didn't know about Chris Stokes? Oh God. Have you ever seen the pictures of them in that bed together where they had all them? They got old pictures of B2K on that renter bed in that renter cribs, sitting there on that bed. Very disturbing. Raz B, if you get a chance, look up Raz B's interviews. Raz B talked about it. Oh, it's real. It's real. So, a buddy of mine who's out in LA who writes interviewed Stokes, and he told me, he said he felt the heebie jeebies being around him. Because I said, that dude, he said, yeah, I felt kind of weird. Oh, yeah. The whole thing, Marcus Houston and Marcus married that girl, and she was on a milk carton. She was MIA. They got married, and that whole thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's real. Oh, yeah. Stokes is, yeah. And Omarion has alluded to it. Raz B talked about it. Yeah, because they had interviews. That stuff's all over YouTube. You get a chance, check it out. I ain't lying. That's why Drake ain't even in the Drake ain't even in the top 10 as far as the next, the surviving. He ain't even in the top 10 argument. I can name you 10 cats off the top. He ain't in that argument. Unless, of course, he does something strange and he acts like he gonna speak out, then he would bull it up, but he won't bull it up. Jay-Z would be next. Oh, yeah, well, Dre's, I don't know so much about his orientation, but the whole thing with D Barnes beating up on women and is a lot of stuff. Like if you saw Straight Outta Compton, they romanticized him quite a bit. Quite a bit. They covered his behind. They made him almost likable. I'm telling you, there's a lot of them. A lot of them. And if they went after him like that, it would change the whole way you remember stuff. You said a fruit basket. That's hilarious. I caught that. I hadn't heard that one before. Fruity vibes, yeah, but the fruit basket, that was hilarious. But yeah, there's a lot going on with him. Well, that's what Adam Silver wants. Now, I ain't heard, I mean, there's been things low key. Got to give you Doka props though, because that Rockets had starburst action and they, whatever they did, they put the fruit basket away and they tighten up. Them boys is winning now. So, yeah. But it's in all the cultures. I wouldn't be surprised though. I'm not gonna say nothing about Steph. She not saying nothing. No, that's not funny. Steph ain't never gave me no nothing like that. He happy. We'll see he's happy. I'll say he happy. But I ain't never felt nothing with Steph being, he's entertaining. They beat Orlando last night. I know you don't, because you hate on him, I know. And we always gonna debate that. That's cool. And I think a lot of them, he changed the course of basketball. And I can't help it when you're a groundbreaker. I'm always gonna be like giving you. I like the way he play. I'm like Shaq about him. I think it's so unique because I just think like, wow, this cat got cat sparked. I mean, he's got LeBron. He's got all your favorites sparked. Everybody and their mama got to shoot a mid-range three because of him. I mean, you can't downplay that influence. That's why he's top 10 for me. And I ain't got no shames in saying, you know. Now there are things that I'll say this. He'd have to win another ring before I'd even dare say top 5. I'll never see nothing crazy like that. But top 10 for real. Well, it depends on what it is. Now that's between you and your friend. I'm not giving him my Miles Davis book, but it depends on what it is. But I know how you feel, T. At least you're honest about your Steph hate. I like you consistency. I like that. We mean more people like you. I like that. I like that. He don't move you. That's fine. That's fine. Stay on call like that. That's the way you're supposed to be. Everybody who does something, you can appreciate someone's set. Doesn't mean you have to be a fan of them. Okay. But he ain't your top 10, though. He ain't your top 10. Now, if you can admit that, you don't look at him as top 10. Yeah, okay. See, I used to have all of Miles Davis's music and stuff, so I couldn't imagine. It depended what it was. I had the book. I bought the book back in '89. So, because his father was a great ball handler, and his father actually led something with his team. His father was actually an argument as the first or second option on his team. Hardaway Jr. is like third or fourth. Right on, GOAT. That's cool. The only reason why I have a problem with Hardaway Jr. is that I know what happened in New York when he got distracted. But he's been out in Dallas. He doesn't quite manifest as being he's what's his butt with Philly? What's his butt with Philly? Who's the fourth option? You know what I'm talking about. They got from the Clippers. You know what I'm talking about. Can't think of him right now. That's what Hardaway Jr. does. He remind me just like him. The fourth option. No, Harden was bad. Harden just didn't take his game to the next level. He should have been mentioned in the same conversation. Yeah, Harris. And see, Hardaway Jr. sells for third or fourth when he could be the third and he could look as the second at some nights. He just hasn't gotten better. That's the problem I have with Hardaway Jr. No, Harden was bad, but the problem with Harden is that his postseason sucks. Often, regular season, bad dude. Their only beef is because of the crossover. And because Tim Hardaway Jr., Tim Hardaway Sr. doesn't feel he gets his due because he was considered, you could kind of say considered more black than AI. You could say that. Believe it or not, you can. Because AI did cross over. And Hardaway Sr. never got that love for that crossover, that bounce. AI got all this love. So Tim Hardaway Sr. is a bit salty about it. You can debate who had the better cross. It's debatable. Because Tim Hardaway's handles was sick. He bounced it like pounds. AI went backwards and forwards. But see, AI after he did that juke and cross on Jordan, he's like he won him a lifetime pass. Robert Ory's shot against Sacramento is the first thing comes to mind. Shaq catching that alley oop from Kobe comes to mind. Kobe against the Pacers hitting big shots. Shaq's dunk against the Nets at the end. There's a few. And the way Shaq bammed on Duncan and Robinson. Ooh, brutal. Those come to mind. Those are part of my top five if I had top five or so Laker moments. Well, we talked about it earlier. It's always gonna be Ray Allen's shot against the Spurs. That was the one. Um, Magic's baby hook against the Celtics in the finals. Um, Jordan against Cleveland. That's always a memorable one. Bird hit some big time shots. I remember all those shots come up. That's from way, way, way back. But if you want to use that Don Nelson shot, got hurt shot against Phoenix against the Celtics in triple overtime. Crazy shot. Bill Willoughby shot against the Magic, against the Lakers when they knocked him out, which no one ever talks about. Or Ralph Sampson with that shot over his head when they beat them to go to the finals against Boston. No one talks about. We're going to talk about some crazy shots, that some of the clutch shots, which they were. You know. But Jerry West buzzer beat half court. Tayshaun Prince against Reggie Miller 20 years ago, because that changed that whole series. If Reggie Miller makes that shot, Pacers probably win that series. He blocks that shot, that whole momentum shifted, changed that whole series. No one talks about the Tayshaun block. Yeah, those are two that you mentioned. There are others that come to mind. Dennis Johnson steal against Isaiah Thomas. That comes to mind too. Bird with the pass. That comes to mind too. I think Stan Van Gundy, Orlando against the Lakers. And he had a great sick inbounds pass which worked, but he got out coached. Okay, Goat, how old are you? Just asking. You can just say, if you want to say 20s, 30s, you ain't got to say your direct age, but tell me, what category you fall in, because then I can. I think that Stan Van Gundy's coaching was atrocious. I think Spoelstra against the Spurs in 2014 was atrocious on offense. And against the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 finals. Got our coach bad. I seen him when guys get played. That's what finals comes in. That's what Monty. Yeah. You don't have to say all y'all know, but the play was in game 2, I believe, and Reggie was on a fast break, and I think he looked back, but Tayshaun came and swiped it at the rim, changed that whole complexion of that series. I forgot which game it was now, but it's changed the whole complexion of that series. Detroit went on to win. And to me, that was a turning point in that series for Tayshaun. Snatched him in the air, blocked that shot from behind. See, those are isolated plays that I remember, because everybody will mention about LeBron's block on, and you could debate if there was at a goaltending on Iguodala. That could be debatable. Havlicek still was there. Those plays defended, but the Tayshaun one, that got them. Everything was rolling for Detroit. Getting Rasheed Wallace and that block, that was huge. And that's what usually, when I think back to teams that had special years, there's always a play or two or getting something that was a turning point. And to me, that's a turning point. That's why I can't, for the life of me, if you ask me who's going to come out the East in the finals this year, I can't tell you. I've seen too many flaws. Too many flaws. Oh, yeah. Okay. I appreciate you saying it. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to pick on you, call you out. I mentioned that because that happened in 2004. And if you get a chance to watch it, type in Tayshaun Prince's block on Reggie Miller, you see what I'm talking about. That was buddy of mine 20 years ago. We were pulling for the Lakers to win. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you something. The Lakers always had a problem with the Pistons, especially when the Pistons were great. Yeah, you remember that play though, Ted? You remember that play I'm talking about, right? Though you remember that play, right? And we were hoping it'd be the Lakers and the Pacers. I say we beat the Pacers because the Pistons were a problem. They were physical. They had the right. That's why I knew the Lakers were in trouble. Yeah, that play changed that series. Reggie looked like he was getting ready to lay that ball in and start shimmying, and then boom, Tayshaun came out and got him. That's plays I remember because when people ask what makes a team tick or roll, those are the plays I remember, the hustle back plays. And that's how I knew that Pistons team was special. I knew right there. I said, oh boy. I wanted the Pacers to win because I thought, oh, the Lakers will win this. Didn't like the chances against Detroit. Didn't like it. They always gave the Lakers a problem. See, their style matchup problems. Certain styles that you just can kind of foresee. I'm not dissing. I'm saying the Pacers going to be cupcakes and you walk over them, but the way Detroit played, that was going to be a problem. It's okay. It's okay. Go. We can talk about. But yeah, I do like how you go back. Well, what happened was Detroit got cute because they went and got McDyess, if you remember, as opposed to drafting Carmelo. And McDyess was all animated, and they was kind of feeling themselves. But when Robert Ory stole Game 5, I believe, with that dunk and came up big, that smacked him in the mouth. Remember the first two games, Ginobili looked like he was going to be the Finals MVP. They tightened up, but then Ory stole Game 5, and they had no answer for Ory. Ory was like that, you know. And that's where she comes in about how this was on and that. I'm like, no, you played against your match. They were the bigger, better version of you. That's all. See, when you beat the Lakers, Shaq aside, you weren't even really worried about Kobe. But Shaq, you kind of say, okay, well, he gets his. Everybody else got to kind of. Yeah, and he was washed after that. He was trying to go back home. He probably want to go home. He was washed. He was washed. And when they actually went on and got what they should have gotten, it was too late. It was too late. They weren't the same team again. And yeah, he was just rocking jerseys at that stage because he went and played with the Sixers too. He was done. And the thing is that they went and gambled on McDyess, and they did get to the finals, and they went to Game 7. So they got nothing to hold their heads about. They just lost to a better team. Had they beaten the Spurs, then Sheed would never shut up. Yeah, but that's all that was. But anyway, no harm, no foul, goat. I mean, that's just I'm saying. I just mentioned that because that's like in recent memories. If I'm thinking about it, besides, of course, Ted's gonna talk about Alcaz LeBron and Iguodala, but one to me that was, yeah. Well, for me, right? For me, the reason why I say that block is more significant because they went and won the series. They went against a heavy dog in that Lakers team. And the way he blocked Reggie Miller, there was no question. LeBron's block on Iggy, some people thought it was goaltending. LeBron was looking, they weren't so sure. And that game was still in the balance. When they blocked that shot, they went on and won that series, and then they had the momentum and had everything going their way. Gotta remember too, when Cleveland beat Golden State that series has a lot of asterisks. It's a lot of question marks. Some people don't feel that they really won it. Some people think that the fix was on, the whole thing with Draymond. There's a lot of stuff. There was no doubt when Detroit beat Indiana and then they beat the Lakers. That's one of the best upsets in the last 20 years in NBA history. That and Dallas over Miami, 2011. Those are like 1 and 2 to me. Those two are more significant than Cleveland coming back against Golden State. Because even though Golden State will have more sway because of the historical season they had and all that, and Steph Curry and all that, but there's something about the purist that I think, wow, you beat the mighty Shaq and Kobe and Phil, or you beat the mighty Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Bosh. That was like, wow. Those were like precursors to that. So, But no one ever talks about Tayshaun, though, because he ain't romanticized. And see, it takes the unsung guys, the guys who don't get the same fanfare. Those are the ones that really, when Ted always asks me about role players or guys of this, those are the ones that you long for. You expect Havlicek and LeBron and, uh, you know, somebody that carries weight to come up big. You don't see a Tayshaun Prince get mentioned. That's why I don't do your standard takes on sports, because I look at all the faces and they don't get mentioned, but they all have their place. I used to know a cat used to play ball where he looked like Tayshaun too. Thought it was Tayshaun's cousin. But anyway, he wasn't though, but we talked about it though. Draft steals? Kobe? I mean, ain't that the obvious one? That's one of them. Dwayne Wade is another obvious one. I mean, they linked to me. Tony Parker. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what the Spurs did though is they went into the farm when they went with what they did in their system. Pop got that from Don Nelson. Dirk's one of the greatest draft steals if you want the honest truth. Yeah, Dirk's in that argument too. Dirk, Jokic, Dwayne Wade, Kobe. Anytime anybody that's outside the top 10, that's a steal. Okay. Anybody past the top 5, that's a steal too. Because if they ain't top 5, you're not really thinking that they're gonna mount to like that. Because that's the mindset. And see, the NBA more so than the NFL that we're, because NFL, it's a romanticized second round, sixth round thing, right? NBA, usually they don't think about cats past, past the 10th pick, They think they're gonna be journeyman. They don't really see them like that. So there's a lot of jewels that come up late. So, but yeah, a lot of the foreign players, I'll say, especially in the draft, that because they got drafted, and that's where that became, I'll say that. So that's what I'll say with that. It's overrated. It's a show. It's like watching a reality show. You get excited because it got you entertained, but a lot of times, as you found out yourself being a football fan, they don't necessarily mean that the jewels always in the first 10 round, first 10 picks. There's always somebody the second, third day. It's just that they romanticize it because it's got so much hype. And especially when you see old New York Jet man with his big old hat on his head. I'm like, look, y'all ain't getting nobody like that. And if you do, he's either gonna get hurt or he's gonna get traded. Mm-mm. You can't really, but it's the most hype show. It's the one that people get seduced by the most. I don't, because you can get you some late draft picks, you know. None really, because I'm gonna tell you why. I like the fans. The fans make it more entertaining than the actual draft. The fans be booing like woo, like when Jalen Hurts, woo, or they like, why would we get him? And I don't think Kansas City fans knew about Mahomes like that, or the Ravens with Lamar. I mean, they knew, but you know what I mean? It's hard because how often do you know you're going to have a guy that's going to be great, really? But the hype of the fans is what makes it more memorable. The hype of the fans being there, rooting and cheering or booing, that's what makes it more memorable to me. So that's what makes it more memorable. If I watched NFL draft, it's because the fan base that was there. Like, and I saw the jet dude with his big old fire truck helmet on his head. He overrated. He overrated. My buddy got into it with him 20 years ago about Lee Evans. I think when the Bills and he called Kuiper up and basically called him a bum. Kuiper trying to play like he's some guru, don't know more than we do. Because again, where guys get drafted, where they fit the system they play in, you can't project what nobody's gonna do. You don't know. Yeah, he got mad because he called him up and he thought he was an idiot. And I said he is. We both agree. Look, I'm not claiming to be some guru. I can give you my perspective. I can look. You ask me about guys, I say I don't know until they play in the system. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say, well, projected this and how you gonna be. I don't know. I don't know how good Caleb Williams is going to be. I can tell you he has prototypical, he's got tools that can make him a good quarterback, and he's got arm strength and agility. I don't, it depends on where he go. Where he going to go? Who he going to play with? Who's his coach? You got a coach that's offensive minded that's going to put you in the best shape to win, or you going to have a coach that's going to be like Staley with the Chargers, who had Justin Herbert trying to make something out of 4th and 1 at his own 29 with 20 seconds to go in the game. He's up by 3 and doing dumb stuff. See, depends on what you're dealing with. So I ain't, but yeah, he got mad, and I agree with him. I thought Kuiper's an idiot. I don't like none of them so-called gurus. And some of them is racist too, because I know Bill Polian. He used to be the Bills GM and became the Colts one, and he had great success between Jim Kelly and with Peyton Manning. But all that hate he had about Lamar Jackson, talking about he'd be better as a tailback and all that mess, bump that evil turkey. I don't pay him no mind. I don't pay him no mind. I just what I do is I see how a guy projects. See, give you case in point was Reggie Bush. Reggie was electrifying in college, but he got to the pros. They had answers for him. And I told a buddy of mine, I said, they got specialists for this cat. This cat ain't gonna come over there and go crazy. And he got in the best situation being with New Orleans, but he was probably the 12th, 13th, 14th best player on the team. So no, because you don't want to hear cats talking heads trying to sell something. Oh yeah. Because after everything with Kaepernick, there's a trajectory. Then they don't like Cam Newton. Cam didn't get all them. They don't want black quarterbacks styling like that. It's a good old boy system. The Bears got Justin Fields because that's kind of like the end thing to do. It's not because the thing they wanted to do, but you got to have a black mobile quarterback. And Trubisky didn't work out. And when Nagin, their coach, didn't make it, he was an all right coach, but they didn't last. So, yeah, I know about it all too well. You got to remember, you know how long I've been watching football? I call him the Magic Wand. That's my nickname, the Magic Wand, because he's like a magic fairy where he makes stuff happen. He's the elephant when we get to the jury. That's where the elephant comes in, because then they tongue tied. And it's looking like Tiger Woods. He's looking like, oh God, will he stop racking them up? And that's why you're gonna see more black quarterbacks. We gotta go get one of them. That doesn't mean they like us. So don't get it twisted. We gotta get one. We need one of them. We need one of them light skinned curly head. Let's go. And that's where Mel Kiper's behind. You're gonna see these so-called gurus have to be more racially ambiguous, more like, oh, I need one. I need one. I need to find one. What do you think? What do I think? That's why you got Robert Kraft talking about Mayo, I'm colorblind. Gotta get a black coach, gotta get a mobile quarterback. That's what's up. That's the Mahomes effect. That's the Lamar effect. Gotta go get one. More white boys starting to go out. I'm telling you, when Stafford goes and some white boys go, you laugh now. You see what I'm saying? I gotta get one. I need them. Yeah, I bought the book back in '89. Quincy Thorpe did the book. Talked about the whole meeting with Prince and Michael Jackson in the book. I remember the book verbatim. Some of the stuff he said would get him almost canceled today because him and him and Cicely Tyson, Miles was like talking like a pimp. Some of the stuff he did, and actually some of the stuff in his book, he sounds like a lot of these rappers who have this dual life because his father was a dentist. He grew up upscale black. Now it was racism, and he obviously when he got in the industry, and of course when he went to France and everything, that he fell in love with that actress and all that. But it's a trip out book. It's a trip out book. I bought that book when it first came out. I'm a huge Miles Davis fan. I bought his records, followed him extensively. The 1959 beaten by the police, if you ever seen those pictures, that was scary. Because he had blood, shirt was bloodied, and he had to go back and perform. Took him outside, whipped up on him, and then he had to go back. He wouldn't file a complaint, but he was bloodied up. If you ever see those pictures, yeah. It had some okay parts, but the problem with Prince is that you never got the full details. You got like pieces. My favorite Prince book that I ever read was DMS, those Dance Music Sex Romance by Pierre Nielsen, the first decade. That's the best Prince book I ever read because he actually talked about him. And I did buy the Morris Day book, which was interesting and entertaining. But Prince books, only the DMS, that one. There was a book called Imp the Perverse. There's only about a couple books by Prince because most of the stuff they didn't really go into it fleshed out. I did get that. I did have that Prince book, but he didn't really. He had time to speak. I don't think he wanted to go into everything because there's a lot of stuff that he said through the years. He's one of them to me. I won't call him I won't say it for me, but he's one of them. I say he was very talented and he had a big time impact. But I listen to his old music. But when I say that, there's a parts of his music I don't listen to because I just think he was better as a live artist. There's stuff I listened to more live than I did with him. I thought he was one of those kind of artists. I'm not taking no one over Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the most dominant artist of my lifetime. And I'm gonna tell you something. Michael influenced Prince. He influenced everybody that came after him because he was that dude that musically, from the Jackson 5 to his career, was a blueprint to how you do R&B pop. How he was a balanced state. Now I can say Prince had talent more in certain aspects more than Michael, but Michael's albums move me more. Michael's albums, um, well, there's a lot. So when you ask me my favorite songs, there's Jackson 5 era stuff. There's his solo stuff. That's a lot. I thought he had better quality of his music. I thought he connected what he was trying to do. I thought he was more versatile. I thought Prince's playing was great, but I thought Michael's versatility was more. I think they two are the greatest ever, but I would, if I had to pick, I'm taking Michael because he dominated. He was the first black artist I saw that was in categories against himself and that he connected in ways. His music just connected. It wasn't because it was Peter Pan, it was light and easy. He just had strong songs. I thought he had strong songs, strong albums, you know. But Stevie Wonder's higher on my regards too, you know. And when I say most dominant, because Michael, I saw him open doors. Michael was the cat that opened doors. You had to go through him. If you love Michael, you support him. If you like Michael, you support him and others. And if you didn't like Michael, you made sure whoever you like, you put their records and everything. But you could not avoid him. And that's dominance. And he changed the course of popular music. First as the Jackson 5 and as a solo artist. He was unlike anybody else. And they've been trying to get white artists like him, you know. Prince is a great musician. To me, certain things work better than others. I think that he put out a lot of stuff. I think Little Richard said it best about Prince. A little bit of something's better, a whole lot of nothing. I think he put a lot of stuff that he was trying to throw darts and hit. And I understand what he was doing. But some of it worked, some of it didn't. But when he had his great run, he had a great run. He was a strong live showman. And I'm not taking him from his talent, you know. But I don't, there's things that I liked a lot. He's one of the most important artists. I will always say that. But I have to give Michael, for me, the edge. If we go by his adult career, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Rock With You, Billie Jean, Human Nature, Want to Be Starting Something, Stranger in Moscow, Man in the Mirror, those songs come to mind. The Way You Make Me Feel, those songs come to mind. You know, fact that he co-wrote "We Are the World," which was a national anthem. He had a lot of type of different songs. Heartbreak Hotel is one of my favorites. That's What You Get for Being Polite. I Want to Be Where You Are. Got to Be There. Ben. A lot of songs as a kid artist. I Want You Back. Love You Save. I'll Be There. ABC. He had a lot of different things. But I'm not getting into no, I'm past those days. I can say who I like more and I can rank them. But that doesn't mean that I sit there and listen to them like that either. You know, I listen to their songs, but I'm not into no contest about it. You know. Now you ask me who had the greatest run in popular music, I'm gonna tell you Stevie Wonder. Them '70s albums, no one is seeing that. His '70s run, nobody. Miles would be able to see it if I include, with jazz and everything, but and Miles changed the course of music too. So it all depends on how you look at it. I love a lot of different artists for different reasons. You know, I grew up in the '80s when everybody was battling Michael and Prince and all that, and it went on in the '90s. It went on, but they're deceased now. And Bruno Mars was the last cat that I liked because he could play, he could sing, he could write, and he goes good live. He's the last one that kind of moved me. Before that, R. Kelly, because I still don't think no one really dominated like he did R&B or something like that for like as long as he did. R. Kelly, uh, Bootsy, the rapper, Bootsy the rapper will tell you that no one can see R. Kelly's catalog. There are people that feel that way. R. Kelly wrote all kinds of different songs, worked with all kinds of artistry, did hip hop hooks, did all kinds of stuff. And as an artist, he belongs in some of the. All right, what's up, Dutch? What's up? He belongs in the debates too. I do. So, but music is subjective. Music is subjective until you watch these sorry excuses for award shows and they give somebody like Beyonce 35 Grammys and all this stuff and all that, or Taylor Swift get all these awards. And then people got the nerve to come at you and say, well, how about that? What's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? Or people come at me and say, is Drake a top 10 rapper because he streamed a bunch? They come at me and ask me stuff like that. And I'm like, because the mindset now is thinking, okay, well, because you streamed or you sold, people got to look back and say, if I can listen to your music 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that's your answer. Yeah, but again, he streamed a lot. That's that whole thing right now with Kendrick and him going at it, and plus I had a buddy of mine come at me and no, you do what you gotta do. You ain't gotta apologize for me. What's a bold claim? No, happy birthday to your family. Okay, you are Minneapolis head. My favorite Andre Simone record. I love Kelly's Eyes, but I love the stuff that he did with Jody Watley. And you could say he co-wrote "Do Me Baby" too, because he helped Prince out a lot too. Prince and him worked together on the Prince album, Dirty Mind and Controversy. Andre had a hand in some stuff. He just didn't get credit for it. Kanye's not on my top 10 nothing. He's top 10 most overrated rapper. I like his production all right when he had those bongo drums, but I don't really. Kanye's not somebody that I get. To me, he's like a more musical version of Puffy, but he's so gimmicky. I like the stuff he did with Slum Village. I like, but I'm not. I don't really get into Kanye. I heard better beat makers back in the day. All right. Appreciate you. Tell me about yourself because just let me know you're not trolling, but I'm blessed. I am succeeding in life. I'm alive and well. That says something. That's a success in itself. We wake up every day. Um, well now Ted's got a right to say that. I mean, Drake ain't for everybody. I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan either. I think he's one of the most overrated people. I look at Jay-Z and Beyonce as very overrated. As a matter of fact, I got the triplets. I got Jay-Z, Beyonce, and LeBron James. They're like triplets to me. Ted know when I be saying it. They're like triplets to me. Three of the most tiring acts. I don't. I try to avoid them three. I know her country album is coming out any moment now, any hour. It's gonna be leaking. I just, it's like those triplets. Um, Veggie burgers. That's my favorite food. Veggie burgers, cause I can put them, season them the way I like them. Lots of onions and peppers. There's something about that vegan the vegan patty that I like. Not a lot of food that I. To be honest with you, not I like black rice. I like vegetarian pizza. That's probably one of my favorite things. I don't eat that a whole lot except in the summer, but with the tomatoes, onions, green peppers, the cheese, and then I like that a lot. I do like pizza, but don't overindulge. Where you from? Mm, it's probably about the milk thing or certain things. I mean, people get real finicky, but I'm not gonna really, I understand. I understand. It's you have to be serious about what you put in your body. So I'm not arguing. Okay, glad to have you. Glad to have you. In a particular place there though? Yep, yep, yep. I don't do them. So Zeke, I will be tell you, I never done them. I never will. I don't want anyone looking to say, and all that fakery. I'm like, you can reach out to me anyway. I uh I don't really believe in going back. That's never been in my mindset. I only had a couple people I was really cool with in high school anyway, and I never felt like the need to kind of indulge and back down memory lane. I feel very honored, and I feel that's like the motherland calling. That feels like home to me. So I feel very honored. I really do. Feels like my message to the universe is coming. I'm in the UK right now, and it is pushing almost 9 o'clock. I grew up in America. That's a long story, but anyway. And back where I lived in America right now, it would be pushing 1 o'clock. But if I was on the east, it would be pushing five. Mm, they kind of like it's different. It's slow. It's like okay, um, it's different white than it is white in America. It's a almost like a subdued. Um, you get some are cool, but it's a kind of like a kind of um, it's well. Tell me why you wish that. It's a it's some cultural things that you kind of pick up on, you know, um, outlooks. I think my biggest thing is how they handle business here because they've had like well, some of them are, some of them aren't. That's just like being in America too. Being honest with you. Um, okay. The dealing with them from a business perspective, they make you sit and wait. They have like they go through your history. It's like you go through the government, but you got to sit there and then go through what they want, and then on one hand they want you to be up to date with technology, but on the other hand they want to act like it's robotic. So it's a real complex thing. Tourist pet peeve, just like when you ever go somewhere, because I went to London about a month ago, and so I was cool. I'll tell you about that in a minute. You know, you go to London, they're like, ooh, look at that sky. Ooh. And so you can always tell when someone ain't from somewhere. They always got that look. 5 minutes with Jesus. I don't care about no money. And now you see you don't know me, so it's the first time you ever dealt with me. Oh, with the Lord all the way. Money ain't gonna make or break. I'm not a material guy. Don't do that. I'm sure there is, Ted, because the funny thing being here, sometimes I see the Africans or I see some of them I see when I be like, "What's up?" So I got my mask on. I be like, "What's up?" Some cats be looking at you. Now some will be cool. There'll be people that be cool, but then there's some that be kind of like, you know, trying to parlay. I can tell. It's similar to the states because people be on code. So sometimes I didn't caught people on code, and I do see some. It's similar. First of all, thank you very much. Appreciate that. It's not sensitive for me. I let it be known that I take reparations over anything they're putting out. I could care less about Trump or Biden and their racist agenda. And the UK Parliament, too. I'm not feeling none of them. I feel that they all owe reparations to black folks everywhere. So I'm the wrong person to think I'm going to bite my tongue and say otherwise. I could care less. I don't really get into running from it. Staying warm because it was windy as all get out here today. Had to go get some milk and some water, and I just chilled. And I just stayed warm. It was not the day to be out. But because of the holiday coming up this weekend and everything, if you get family, you're a funny dude. You must see something on a crystal ball that I don't see. But I'm same old me. I don't I don't change. Like I said, I've been through too much. I'm not gonna go through no. I don't go Hollywood. But that's nice of you to say, buddy. You must see something I don't. I don't get that kind of traffic, and but I know my stuff get watched. I know people be taking stuff, and everybody takes from everybody, but I know that stuff be watched because I've never, I've had some videos where people go crazy on and some nothing. Well, thanks a lot, DP. Appreciate it, but I wouldn't be nothing without people like yourself coming through and Ted and people coming through and the questions and what we talk about. Because I'm only as one as human being. So I don't hold myself like I hold myself like I think some of myself, but I'm not gonna sit around. I'm not blowing no smoke about stuff. I keep it real. YouTube trolls are crazy. Thank you. That's true. And to what Dutch was just asking about from politics. Oh yeah, if I say anything about gun control in America or I talk about Trump, you see what the kind of people I get come through. Millionaire, millionaire. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. First of all, I'm gonna say it like this. She attract a woman and all that, but see, her spiritual reflections don't move me. And I just think that that industry and anything associated with it, you back in the day when I was a kid, I probably would have taken somebody in the industry and been excited. But you look at things a lot differently through different vision and eyes. Now there are cats older than me who would take Beyonce, and she's not that interesting. Not like that. Not from a spiritual, psychological perspective. And she has some talent, but I'm not the biggest fan. And now, oh yeah, they don't want you talking about nothing of substance. Because if I sit up here and we talking about the politics of Trump and Biden, and I tell you right now, this puffy thing is very serious, and make no mistake about it. It ain't worth no homeland security. They don't even do that for Trump. It sucks. It didn't teach me nothing. Institutionalized systematic racism. Let me tell you something. Black man born in America, and you get 1 month out the year to be acknowledged for Black History Month. Meanwhile, your ancestors and your people built the country, built the White House, built all everything up, and you get 1 month that they're going to acknowledge you in the shortest month. You might like it. It depends. It's an interesting country. You might, I'd say as a visitor. But it's one of those places that they got some people they'll definitely let you know what they think, you know. And it's one of those places that, it's a real interesting zoo. But school system I didn't dogs for me. I didn't get nothing out the school system. Because once we get past math, science, arts, electives you can do. Everything else is mental. Yeah, I was growing up in the hood. If you, huh, I grew up in some rough neighborhoods. I lived in Houston, Texas, and I lived in Virginia and Buffalo, New York. Had some rough neighborhoods. They weren't nothing nice. And some of the stuff I grew up was before hip hop took off. So just for people always think that to blame the rappers. German Shepherd, and I liked a Greyhound and a boxer. Boxers were prior. I had different dogs when I was growing up. We had dogs. Yeah, hood life ain't for everybody. This is great tonight. This is probably the most liveliest I can recall. Got a great bunch of people come. Um, yeah, I did. I see it. Yeah. I like fluffy dogs, if I'm honest. Problem with a puppy can be more problematic than a big dog because a puppy gonna want to get at you. But puppies are cool. I'm not hating, you know. American nationalist pet peeve, all of it. Because the fake patriotism is jive. It's embarrassing. All these flags and all this crap that they put down, they don't take care and care about people. I'm going to tell you, they're one of the most racist countries you can ever imagine. Fundamentally backwards, hateful, spiteful, and don't take care of their own. And all that patriotism as far as military is a joke. My family members did Spanish War, World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, and they didn't get no love. They came back, they were still treated black. They were still treated second class citizens, Jim Crow. America is one of those places that you can dream and you can do well in, but there's a lot of politics involved. And it's one of those places that's still very racist. I'm on TikTok, so I don't believe in banning nothing. What they need to ban is old white boys trying to run for president. That's what they need to ban. Old white boys who fall out on TV like Mitch McConnell. That's what they need to ban. TikTok is no different than. So if you ban TikTok, won't you ban Facebook? Because Zoe, the cat that owns Facebook, had people's accounts hacked in 2016. He had to pay $10 million fines. People was having access to your rights. They have access to what you do. They can put you in their legislative timeouts if you say something they don't agree with on Instagram. Okay, you tell me. Ban what? Obama, of course. There's nothing about Trump I like. Well, and look, I grew up watching Trump. I was on the East Coast as a kid. Central Park 5, if you don't know about the black men who did time by Central Park 5, see what Trump had to say about them. And they were falsely accused. I ain't got nothing good to say about Trump. Now, Obama is nothing to get excited about either because when you're a politician, you bought and said, okay, yeah, I should be on. Please come back again. I would like to continue the conversation with you. Thank you for coming through and appreciate your support. I don't understand that question, Dutch, because that's not fair to a 4-year-old. I'm not going to really answer that question because um, he's a grown man and he's a politician. I don't care for him, but uh, that's kind of not something that I would, understand. Well, I don't joke about stuff like that because in this day and time with all the eyes and well, we got to be very, you just don't say stuff like that. I'm just saying. Now, if you put it as 24-year-old, okay. Luanda, thank you for coming through. Bless your soul. Yeah, well, he's illiterate, so is Trump. But you don't have to be, yeah, you got to understand what the kind of, you never know when people are around and things that you say because, you know, I don't want to, but it's cool. Just don't say that kind of stuff because I got to, we got to be grown up in here. That's what I promote. But anyway, um, no, there's illiteracy is real common with them. I mean, that's real common. They joke about stuff like that because that's what they want. And then when they get what they want, then they want to pull the chair back up under. I just don't like none of the politics at all. None of it. Neither side, none of it. I wish it would go away. You have no freedom. No, it's not a political joke. It's because of the age thing that you put. That's the only thing I was trying to check you on. If you said someone 18, okay. That's all. That was the number that you used. You can make political jokes, but make them be of age, okay? Because I don't want nobody coming up saying, "Oh, you know." Mm-mm. Well, a lot of them that say that right are trying to, but he got in, and they're trying to say he dumb. No, what I'm trying to say is because I don't want it to come across kind of like, you know, a certain way because of the age number. That's all. And I'm going to say this: Biden should, obviously, I don't think even a 24-year-old can match, I mean, because life experiences alone. However, they just trying to say stuff because they want to act like they're ashamed of him. But they voted for him and people support him. They ain't leave the country. If he's that offensive, you walk out, right? So that's all I gotta say about that. If he's that offensive. But Biden doesn't bother me though. He just whacked though. He just another good old white boy, that's all. He don't bother me in the sense that I think much about him. It's so much political nonsense that goes on in America that it's not even funny. You could be sitting here all night trying to juggle it. That's why they're letting all the migrants in because now they're trying to make themselves to be a free haven. However, they don't know how they're going to go about it. They're doing things to run American people out. They're doing things to water themselves down, and they need a new influx of money. They need a new influx of people to get through. So it's a situation where they're going back to what they did 100 years ago, except they're selective with how they do it. America takes on everybody, and they try to own everybody. It's a strange, strange situation. Well, political science student only is going to be able to talk about certain affairs. They're not going to be able to get into the depths and magnitude of how you run a country. Um, you know, a political science student is only going to have so many beliefs and how it infiltrates as far as spiritual too. So it's a very touchy subject. I know what they're trying to do, and he's old, and his mind may not be sharp, but no, because health is your wealth, and education is your tool. Being dumb and being without good health ain't gonna matter if you're stuck in a small butt house. The problem with America is they don't offer free health care, and they don't do education either. Healthcare, you gotta live to work to pay off your bills, and then you get old and you go out and get Social Security, and you still gotta work because there's not enough money unless you don't have a 401 or something. So you're jacked. And education is a pimp to prostitute situation because you gotta pay for a piece of paper to go back and suck up to somebody and hope they'll hire you. What's up, AM? What's up? So how you doing? So it's a situation where no, no, why would I give up something for that? If I can get healthcare and education, I can live to work. I'm working while I'm living. I'm not burying myself. That's what they have you do. So it's not good. Okay. I heard you the first two times. What's up? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Bill Gates. Okay, glad you're back. Okay. Bill Gates. If you are a billionaire, you have more finances than Biden has. Trump is not a billionaire, so he doesn't have more finances. But what they do is they work as a team. Yeah. How what? How what? A president is like a basic puppet for bigger strings that they pull. They get told what to do. There is no how to be a president job manual. You on the job training. You work with both sectors, government bodies, constitution. How Bill Gates? Bill Gates got funded in Africa. Bill Gates was the one that was talking about COVID. Do your research on this if you get a chance. Bill Gates has association with Epstein. Bill Gates got the kind of wealth with the computers. He generates the stuff that Biden ain't never been able to generate. You do understand that when a guy owns a computer business or stuff what he does, right? You do understand that that he's in options that presidents don't have that. Okay. Appreciate that rock and roll fan. I like Mario Van Peebles a lot. I go back with Mario. No, I wouldn't, because he's worse than Trump. He's an evil devil. Evil. Corrupt. Dangerous. No. I I have nothing good to say about him at all. And I do have some people that I know that have Teslas and stuff because he's openly a bigot. He's actually told black Americans they should downplay racism, get over slavery. I have nothing good to say about him. Yes, I do. Now, entertainers were fighting against robots now, AI. Entertainers don't have unions. They're trying to keep the unions. And we're talking about different type of celebrities. There's no health care for some. Not all, but it's the way he does. He had Don Lemon on his show and then he fired him and Don Lemon asked him pointed questions. And he's too insecure to even stand up as a man just to listen to those questions. I don't trust him. And he doesn't show me as any type of he doesn't have the appeal to be presidential unless he was divided. So I don't see that ever happening. I don't think people would be that gullible and that dumb to vote for him. They'll buy his cars and his merch. Some people don't even mess with X because once Twitter went down, they didn't want nothing to do with him. I don't keep up with his personal. I heard about his thing. I don't. I just go by what his agendas. And he's a very dangerous cat. But not all white people are like that though. A lot of them are, but not all. No, you take care, but you give emotional support because money can come back, but emotions can scar you for life. You know that's not his problem. He still is a rich man, and he still thinks like a white man, and he thinks that he's above and superior. Yeah. Cereal. That's a cornflakes one. That's all. Uh, Back in the day, I did it myself as a kid. Didn't think nothing about it. You do certain things as parents, certain things you do. Got a daughter, and it's a long time ago, and I'm not gonna really talk about that, but a long time ago. Do you got any children? Okay. Okay. Fair enough. It's funny because yeah, my grandparents had set me up for school like that. That's another subject I don't really want to get into right now because it was taken away, unfortunately, by some greedy hands. But yeah, when you grow up without having proper understanding the impact of what it meant, especially being black and having that money and using it towards something, yeah, I definitely think it's a very powerful thing. It's a motivational thing, and you can educate yourself in a lot of ways. So yeah, I'm not gonna get into that because it was family, you know. But let's just say that um, it involved my father, but I'm not gonna get into all that. It was quite a personal thing. It was quite a blow. So it's not something I like to really reveal on this phone, but yeah, it happened. It happened. I'm glad you are enjoying it. Glad to have you through. Yeah. It's important that we put back into our education or what do we want to do to tell our family members, etc., to dream. Because yeah, well, like I said, I'm not gonna talk about DP. I'm just gonna let that roll. I'm glad you do. Yeah, well, this thing just went into a different direction, but education is important, and what you learn in your travels and your journeys is what you grasp, you know, and it's important that you know, none to be sorry about you didn't know. They just went in that direction. That's all. No harm, no foul. And things in life, you just have to grow up a little quicker, and you have to, be a little more. I never understood what that meant. It's this illusion, but you got to have money. It's this illusion They can still harass you, they can still profile you, they can shoot you, they can what's freedom? If you talking about too much freedom to what exactly? What are we talking about? Because if they can tell you what to watch and what they got in school and what they how's that freedom? I see his story. I don't see our story in America. I see his story. Yeah, the drugs are too. Um, okay, cool. There's a lot going on. So it's a lot to digest. It's a lot to digest. When you live in America, you got to understand the game. You live in two different worlds. It's still black world, white world. It's still rich and poor. Um, and there are agendas involved. Yeah, you're like a reflection of stuff that we got, but it's different though. But you know, it's emulated everywhere. Ours has got to do with drugs and gangs and different things like that magnitude. So, well, so if you ever seen the movie Edward Scissorhands, a lot of the homes today are like built like next to each other and they all look like they're cloned and they don't have any personality. The old homes did have personality. So I find the places now to be kind of like repetitive and kind of generic looking. They don't have no distinctive quality about them. The old homes had more style to them, just like older cars and stuff. I just think that the quality, is lacking. That's a good question too, because I never get asked that. So that's a good question. But I do like the older homes better though. Yep, that's what they do now. They got and you can't really tell. And they, it's the watering down. Just like when they do with gentrification, you know, they, no problem. They don't. Places used to have character. And it shows. People would rather live in a certain neighborhood than identity. So, so that's how I look at it. They are, and they're like a throwback because a lot of them houses are old. I've seen quite a few of them, and they're very distinctive. They have a spiritual aspect to them, you know. So the world modernization has got to do with the technology, which brings people closer together. Some of it is cool, some of it ain't, because I grew up in a time when you went to different places and you had different things that you could appreciate. You still do, but it's not quite the way it was because computers and everything then kind of made it homogenized. Some things are cool, some aren't. I don't like AI at all. They're trying to compartmentalize experiences and people and they use it in a way to manipulate. And I just think that the human aspect of where you really are is more important than trying to get this false sense of robotics. I don't subscribe to that point of view. You know, if you fall down, you fall down. We can't re-sculpture you, so I don't care for it. Um, I he's actually like some of the stuff I post. I posted some stuff. I've had some interactions with him. Some things, I mean, he talks about Jody Wiley. Some things he talks about with Prince. He shares. He says some things. I'm not for voting though. He and I differ on that. We differ on stuff. I don't find nothing that I would encourage voting with. We differ on that. He's a musician. He's a bass player. He's a musician who played with Prince, who was his best friend. Grew up with the man, and very important musical figure in his own right. I mean, Andre is a very talented artist. Just didn't really come off in all his records, but a musician, of course, it can be because we're human beings. We're not without flaw. We can be challenged. Not gonna ever say that everything I say is 100% gospel. No one is 100% gospel. There's only one person who walked God's green earth that had that. He has his name. If you type in Andre Simone, you'll see him on there, and he talks about different topics. Now, one thing about Andre Simone is interesting too. He doesn't like he is aged at all. The cat has great shape, taking care of himself. He's a grandfather too, if I'm not mistaken. Close to us. And I think his wife or someone posts on there. I don't know. But he covers, he talks, but he doesn't really, you know, to a rock and roll fan, most of Minneapolis cats don't really talk. You get like pieces. You get riddles. So, but he had a very big pivotal part. He was very instrumental with Prince's early career, and they were, you know, love and understanding, compassion, and that you can separate yourself from what you experienced as a child and you take care of your child, and that you make sure you give them a foundation of nurturing them, educational, spiritually, psychologically, make them feel that they can be better than you are. That's what makes it good. And then the events and the travels and the journeys and the lessons that you teach and the knowledge that you pass and the wisdom. That's what makes it good. Because it's about preparing the next to be even better than you. Well, I just read a lot. I'm nothing, Dutch. I just read a lot and I feel a certain way spiritually. He should be. Just for the Jody Wiley stuff alone. I mean, if you don't want to even mention him with Prince, uh, They were a tag team. And you could make the case not as influential as Jeremy Lewis with Janet, but impactful because Hasta la Vista was a catchphrase. Jody, that won the Grammy New Artist, had big success. She had one of the first early hip hop collabs, R&B. They broke some ground together, and they were a strong tag team. Now I know he ended up working with Adam, and he worked with Tom Jones and others, but I mean, he should be. I mean, being a sideman and a co-collaborator with Prince, and then Jody Wiley should get him in. His solo career wouldn't get him in, no, but but I think he, some kind of form he should get. He was a successful producer, I think, but there's a lot of politics involved, you know. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by inflatable. Oh yeah, yeah. I seen something they promote. Yeah, I seen something about it. I didn't pay it a whole lot of mind. Yeah, I heard about that. You gave me an idea because when I do my videos, I might use it as a story. The inflatable basketball. Thank you. I may have to use that for a story. Thank you. You just inspired me. Yeah, I heard about it, but I didn't really touch it because I don't know how I'm going to put it into a context. But I will definitely. I think I'll make a story out of it. Yeah, if you see the video on my when I do my videos, I'll definitely use it. Thank you. Because I do like suggestions like that, and I do see certain topics. Okay. The NBA did try that foolishness, and it sucked too, and it was embarrassing. They tried that. David Stern tried that mess for about 3 weeks. That mess didn't last long. It was embarrassing. The basketball like a big old Halloween ball. It was embarrassing. I try not to think about it because it was embarrassing. They did try that, and the players hated it. And they pulled that mess after 2 weeks. No, he got in when he was supposed to get in. He got in 2004. It's usually 25 years after you come out. Um, Probably 2003, but he got in pretty much when he was supposed to. He got in 2004. Everything was kind of set up almost like it was. So you remember in 2003, he had the news album, he was anti-industry and all that. They had it all set up for 2004, like 20 years after Purple Rain, his breakthrough and stuff. 6 years after he'd been in the business officially. So it was within the requirement. He got inducted in 2004. He had Beyonce with him at the Hall of Fame. I mean, at the Grammys, and you know, For most people, it is. I'd say it probably is how you start your day. It didn't take a lot for him to get in, because Prince got in. Just like it didn't take a lot for Michael Jackson to get in. There now, if you really want to get technical, it's taking a lot to get Lionel Richie in. That's embarrassing because that man didn't had a career to match both of them. He'd accomplished everything they both did, awards wise, success wise, songwriting wise. Why it took Lionel Richie so long to get in? And I want people to come up saying he was corny, he was the Blackberry Manilow and all this, because his Commodore stuff was worthy to get in. So, you know, Whitney Houston got in, but the Hall of Fame's a joke, though. A lot of funk acts haven't gotten in. A lot of black acts that they won't acknowledge won't get in. They got more rappers getting in than they do funk acts. Well, you have to stay consistent when you protest. It can't just be for a week or two. You have to stay with it. Protest is meant to be something you continue, not something that you just stop. You have to stay on people. So it's a battle. But yeah, he got in. He got in rock and roll. He got in. I just think how the fake patriotism of it when they're not inclusive. When they deny about racism, it's fake. To deny white privilege, it's fake. They never tell the truth. When you're not familiar with a country, you'd be surprised what they put over as agenda. And they whitewash everything. And racism is the biggest virus that there's no cure for. They don't want to cure it. They did when I was growing up. They used to get a paddle and they used to hit you on your butt. So it became a parental thing. Yeah, they should. I mean, they have to watch their lives. They have to have security enforcements when they go to school now because kids might pull out something. So I think you got that right to protect yourself. I mean, there's a lot going on right now with schools. Some of these teachers be strippers, doing all kinds of stuff. So, you know, it's wild in them schools. They can't because they have to teach these kids to be robots. They want them to be tested on everything by the school administration, but they don't want them to learn nothing. They have to be programmed. So it's like a meat market. So if you have this kind of score, this will be your job, this will be your description. You have no individuality. It's done like that on purpose. They're pushing an agenda to make them into robots. And the teachers have to pass tests to teach, but they're not really teaching. They're teaching what they're being told to do. That's why you have iPads and all this other stuff in schools now. And really, do you even need a school anymore? They program you. You can do that at home. You can learn it with a Wikipedia. Just saying. All right. Well, good to see you, and I'll probably by tomorrow. Glad you came through. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Take it easy. Thank you. And appreciate the questions and the answers. We had some good feedback, and welcome back. Thank you. Peace out. Peace and the best. Whoever is left, let's talk. If not, I will conclude. You too, man. Great to see you again. Thank you. Okay. After Dutch rolls, we're going to see if anybody's left. I don't know if there's a demand, but I know one thing. If you can create your own programming, do it. You create your own job market. You have to think like an entrepreneur. If you've got a skill, make it worth your while. Create an app. Don't depend on anyone else. You can do it. It's at your fingertips. Okay. Any more questions? I'm just going to see if anybody going around before I conclude. It's been great tonight. Glad got some real good questions tonight. We covered a lot of circles and bases. I was on pretty good tonight. On for a long time tonight. All right. Going once, going twice. I think that's my cue. All right. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you as always. Appreciate everyone that gave questions. Okay, let's see. It is just a piece of paper because you got to network. You got to know how to market yourself. You got to know how to get into the people that you need to get to. There is no more longer that degree is going to get you through the door. You got to hustle. They don't owe you nothing. It's a pimp to prostitute, and you have to figure out what corners to move and how to keep your clothes clean and fresh because it's a hustle. You can't depend on them to take care of you. You have to figure it out. Just keeping it 100. Just keeping it 100. You pay for education, you pay what you pay for. You hoping that they will turn around and turn your numbers into a hot hit, and they don't owe you nothing. And you end up paying $100,000, which you could have bought a down payment on a house and a car and some clothes. You got to pay that back, and you may spend 30, 40 years paying that back. That's what what these student loans, what these loan sharks, that's what what they do. So you can get you a tool or a trade, but I'm just telling you, school ain't for everybody, and there's a lot of money involved. And is it worth it to you? And it depends on what you want to do. That's just the reality. Because people that tell you it's a piece of paper have been shut out in the cold in this world. And they don't have a plan B. And they're going to have to pay that till they're 50, 60 years old. Half their life is over by the time they pay that off. Think about it. It's a cold world. And is there a job for it? What does it mean? I don't make this up. You know, I say learn as much as you can, but don't get hustled by the school system. College, tell you. It's a lot of people upset and angry because they spent a lot of money and they thought because they paid into it that they were going to get guaranteed something. All right. Now I'm going to say 1 time, 2, 3 times. No. No. Okay. No, I don't. Just worked. You know, school's not for everybody. But you always in school. Remember that. It's not for everybody, but you're always in school. No, I'm not. But I grew up in upstate New York, the home of Rick James, too, by the way. And if you're a Prince fan, you know about Rick James. All right. I'm gonna get ready to roll because I gotta go and eat. Yeah, Rick James. I got a lot of Rick James stories too. Him and Prince, they were wild. He should be in the Hall of Fame too. He's very underappreciated because if you had the career he had, you know, he hasn't gotten his due. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. And if you come back, let's talk some more. I'm gonna call because I go eat. But anyway, appreciate you coming through. Appreciate everybody that came through. Great long conversations, great topics and everything. And appreciate you. Peace the best. Let's chop it up again. Come on back. All right, I'm out.